This is P.O.C. This is an entity that is stalking, and that's clearly just an entity that is engaged in stalking in a plane. That's the city hall that they're doing a cartwheel over. There's no airport over here. This is obvious stalking and targeting conduct. The entity's doing so at what is moreover 5:40 a.m. There's no flights coming from an airport engaging in any cartwheels over the city hall. There's no planes coming from the airport that are headed to a destination flying over the top of my head. There's no planes headed coming from an airport, stalking, hovering in Upland, California, and then making a U-turn back toward the city of Ontario. This is the entity that is indeed obsessed with me, and that ongoing obsession is relevant evidence to prosecute the government that has not engaged in or conducted any investigation, nor has under any circumstances had anything to do with the cessation of terrorism that an American citizen is subject to, that a government is mandated, required to stop from occurring. And claiming that you're investigating and permitting terrorism to persist is not the way that you are engaging what is providing justice to an American citizen. The government is being prosecuted. This is by an American citizen, and the very ones that are in a position that would claim that in an ordinary circumstance of criminal activity that they were investigating and to determine this is not that sort of circumstance. The government is the one that is still engaging in targeting, and the government is moreover doing it with the population, and the government is engaging in what is abusing a position even while that American citizen, which is myself, has already proven guilt by the government, which is exactly going to be the case in circumstances regardless of how unfathomable and how impossible it otherwise seems. It's actually what happened, and the government is still engaging in terrorism, not stopping the criminal conduct. And the government's going to be suffering what is prison, just like any other terrorist. There are those that are claiming that they're investigating, those that are in positions of authority, those that are responsible, those that, in other words, would be answering questions, all right, regarding what happened and what were you doing and when this, what stage were you in the process, while the target individual, was publishing evidence that I'm still subject to it, psychologically, physically, in every regard, and they're going to prison for it. This is speaking to the government, the military, the people of the state that have not received any orders to stop engaging in targeting me, and they're going to prison. Not just the demons that are stalking, but the demons that are in a position to engage in what is stopping. You do not persist terrorism to go, you're not investigating it, you're stopping it. And this is what the government has not done. And they've intentionally not done that, because the purpose at the outset was to psychologically torture to the point of what is instability, at least to a degree that the entity could plausibly claim that someone is mentally ill, and that's why you're stealing my money. And it's not viewed as theft. It's viewed as something that is necessary because this person is not well. That's why the government stalks you with the population, that population that is mentally ill. Demons engaging in stalking in planes and walking by as though nothing is happening. This is a corrupt state, a corrupt entity. Okay? Not only is she stalking, but the homeless demon who's going to prison is stalking. He's over here in position while the government's flipping and doing cartwheels in planes, maintaining position with regard to criminal monitoring, presence in the path, cooperative criminal activity, where the fake sun rises as well. He's going to prison. And while they're I want to be clear, the gang stalking churches is sitting by me inside of those venues, engaging in the pattern of conduct is what they're doing while they're sitting there receiving food, sitting next to me, threatening me and harassing like a psychopath that's going to stalk you in your face. They're going to prison. And this one is going to federal prison. This is P.O.C. Systematic, ceaseless, ongoing commitment to stalking, regardless of the consequences, by permission, consent of the entity, the government that is stalking, flying over the city hall at 5:40 in the morning. It's 5:44 a.m. This is the P.O.C. is being prosecuted. There are no scheduled flights. None of them are going to be in Upland, California, and they're certainly not going to be over this Ontario City Hall Senior Center, Senior Citizen Complex. The entity that is engaging in what I document is the entity that's providing evidence as to why officials in federal government amongst the state are going to prison. This is P.O.C. That's audible activity by a demon that's monitoring. That's the government. That's a state actor, okay? This is the P.O.C. Like I stated, these are demons. So you're talking about the entity that is dead, the entity that's entirely malicious and unintelligent. That's the entity that's engaged in criminal activity for which the consequences they are not mindful of. They're more concerned with the obsession with me, as though they're headed toward an objective that they're going to achieve. They're not. I am prosecuting the government in a way that it has never been prosecuted before. Nobody is heading an investigation of you, the government, that is gang stalking me. The government that is still targeting is the government that's going to be held accountable. The government is broken down by those that are in positions of authority who will be subject to prison. You're not just going to be removed from position. You're going to prison for an American citizen like myself, subject to the P.O.C. All right, that's the operation of a communication device, breaking down what you're witnessing. It's federal stalking, operation of the device while the government's engaged in monitoring presence, all right, which is criminal, okay? It's a crime while the entity is stalking in the parking lot of Wells Fargo. It's a crime while the entity is stalking in the parking garage of downtown Ontario luxury apartments. It's a crime while they are residing inside of the apartment complexes. It's a means of the government being present, stalking in the sky space, using aerial surveillance, stalking in commercial airline planes, which is the prosecution of the airline industry, not just the demon that is using an entire Southwest Airlines plane, for example. This is P.O.C. It is currently 5:46 a.m. on June 24, 2026. This is an entity that's engaging. This is a demon that's hostile, mocking what is Christ Jesus, who's prosecuting, putting him in prison, playing gospel music. That's what Satan does. It's audible activity. This is P.O.C. It's 5:46 a.m.